Hello and welcome back to the design of Elden Ring. Today we are going to have a look at the Frenzied Flame Village and its surroundings from a level design and world design perspective. If we have a look at the map, the Frenzied Flame Village is right up ahead, just south to our position over here, and I'm really looking forward to this area. I really like this part of the game. Because it's just a so cool mechanic, and it's a mechanic that they've used in Bloodborne as well, in a specific nightmare area, but I think in this area it's communicated better what is attacking you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's get closer to the tower that we see over here, right in between the minor earth tree and the big earth tree's branches. And here we will see a flame appearing periodically. And usually what that flame is doing, it is hurting our character. So what will happen is the eyes of our character will start to burn in this in the same colors as the flame up there. Our HP will drain as long as the flame is up there, and the madness meter is building up until, well, it's full, and then you will take a big chunk of damage and your character will perform a certain animation. And, well, this is madness built up. And this is not the only time or the first time they had this mechanic in one of their games. As I said, in Bloodborne there was a similar scenario, just in a bigger area. And in Bloodborne it was quite unclear, at least to me, what actually causes it. Like, you couldn't see it from a distance. You could see that something is happening and where the source was, but you actually don't know what the source was until you were very close to it. So this time there is a tower with a burning flame that kind of looks like an eyeball, and, well, it might be an eyeball or maybe a black hole or something like this, but I think it's supposed to be it looks like a sphere with fire surrounding it, right? And while we're at it, we can see there are some victims here lying around. Some Albinorics got killed by it, and what is a bit strange is that the rats are, of course, afflicted by it, but if we lure one of these rats in the area where it should affect them, we can see the rat is unaffected, which is a bit strange. Because I think even if we inherit the Frenzied Flame, this tower will still hurt us, I think. I might be wrong there, but I haven't tested it out myself, but later in the game you can inherit the Flame of Frenzy, but I think this mechanic won't change. But I don't really know why the affected or afflicted rats are not getting burned by it. They probably made it this way so that it's not that easy to get through here. Because you have to keep moving, otherwise the flame will hurt you. And you can break line of sight with the flame and then it shouldn't affect you. Sometimes it's a little bit buggy where it still affects you or is not affecting you even though you can see it, or it should be able to see you, or vice versa. Because usually behind this rock you're safe, I think even at this position, so... And this might just be anecdotal evidence, so... But let's have a look and climb up this tower. And be careful if you want to get close. There are a few rats down here, so you might want to lure them out or kill them outright. The big rat is quite dangerous if you're unprepared. Combined with the frenzy build-up, and this might be your death. If we climb up here, we have a chest with Howl of Shabriri inside, which is an incantation. We will have a look at that in a short time, but let's see what the cause of this is. And here we have 6 Albinorics posing in the pose that you will take, or you will pose in once you're getting afflicted by the Flame of Frenzy, or by the Frenzy effect. But they're in this state for forever, basically. And I really wonder how this works. If we're getting rid of them, the flame is gone. It won't appear again. So I think it's clear that these 6 Albinorics over here that are, of course, afflicted by the Flame of Frenzy are summoning the Eye somehow. And together with the Hall of Shabriri incantation that I'm going to have a look at right now, over here, let's see what the incantation says. Incantation originating from the maddening 3 fingers. Releases a maddening shriek that causes madness build-up in foes nearby. This incantation also causes madness build-up in the caster and makes enemies more likely to target them. It is said that the sickness of the Flame of Frenzy began with Shabriri, the most reviled man in all history. And we can actually encounter Shabriri later on in the game, and these chaos beings, well, there are 3 chaos beings, one of them being Shabriri, the other one being Hayeta, and then of course the 3 fingers, and then we have servants of the three fingers, or maybe slaves of the 3 fingers, we don't know. These 2 chaos beings, Shabriri and Hayeta, are very strange because they don't have their own body. Because if you encounter Hayeta, you can only encounter Hayeta when Irina is dead. Irina is the girl that you find right here on the map in the Weeping Peninsula. The blind girl that is sitting on a rock or wherever she's sitting with her guards being dead, and she soon also will die by the hand of a misbegotten. And then, when she's dead, we are able to see Hayeta over here at the lake-facing cliff. And we can see it even here, Light Seeker Hayeta. And also Bok, but Bok isn't very important here. Which is strange to me. And Shabriri we will encounter later on over... Was it at this position here, like when we go up the Grand Lift of Rold? Yeah, here, at the Zama Ruins. There we will encounter Shabriri, and he's occupying the body of... what's his name? Yura? Was this his name, Yura? The dude with the... Interesting. Ah. Iron Casa of the man who calls himself Shabriri. crafted to imitate the woven straw hat worn of the lands of reeds. The man once known as Yura kept a woman. This is very strange, this item description, because I feel like the reeds item description from and this is just a side note, from every item with the reeds stuff on it, at least to me, it feels like the description is kept very, very short. And here are 3 sentences, and one sentence is about Shabriri, your Ironcaster of the man who calls himself Shabriri. Then we have another sentence who isn't about, this sentence isn't about Shabriri, this sentence is about the land of reeds, crafted to imitate the woven straw hat worn of the land of reeds, worn in the land of reeds. And then the next sentence is about Yura. Like, what is this item description? I feel like this item description is like very bad. Like 3 sentences, every one of these sentences is talking about something different. And of course, there are connections, like Shabriri took over Yura's dead body, like Hayata is taking over Irina's body, and he even says it, like, I hope you're not mad that I hope you're not disturbed that I'm occupying this body, or something like this, when you first talk to Shabriri. So I wonder what these beings are, and Shabriri seems to be aware that he is a being of chaos, or something like this, by Hayata. Seems like she's not aware at all. At least the way she talks, it feels like she doesn't even know what she is. She only knows that she is seeking the faint light, which is interesting. And then once you are at the area where Irina is, like, once you're underneath Lendel in the thingy there, with the Frenzied Flame area thingy, then Hayata is clear what her purpose is. But let's keep going, because this tower was interesting. Apparently, if you have enough... and I don't know how you're getting afflicted by the Frenzied Flame, because our player character can only inherit the Flame of Frenzy, like literally absorbing the 3 fingers into your own body, but this is not what happened to this is not what happened to the rats, for example, right? The rats aren't inheriting the Frenzied Flame. No. The only person who inherited the Frenzied Flame other than us is an upcoming invader, which I'm not naming now because I honestly forgot their name. But I wonder what literally is the difference between inheritment. I think we can see the difference, but I wonder how it works, and I also wonder how exactly madness works, but because what is madness? Like, literally, what is madness? Is it like you're having disruptive thoughts of something else, or is it like having a separate being living inside your head, like the Frenzied Flame is also living in there, and then you're fighting with the Frenzied Flame over the control? Or what exactly is madness? How does madness work? Like, yes, your eyes are burning, so you're literally burning yourself. This is why we lose our health. But what happens at the point when you snap, right? When the madness bar is filled up? What is this? Is it an explosion in your head, like something physical, or is it something that happens in your thoughts, right? And to me, it's not really clear at all what the madness itself is, other than the physical burning, which we can see, but it must have a psychological effect as well, but it's to me unclear what this psychological effect is. And because I don't know what it is, it's intriguing, right? You want to know what it is, you want to learn about it, but it keeps the information Like, it keeps it safe from you, basically. But just a little side note here. We are now... This area, I think, has nothing to do with Frenzy. Here we are in one of these mage towers. Converted Fringe Tower. Like, converted, I think... Yeah, we have a statue of Marika inside, so I guess that's the conversion. And again, may erudition light the way. So you have to perform a gesture here to unlock the seal. But in this case, you also have to wear one of these stupid-looking stone masks or crowns. And then if you're actually doing the gesture with the mask on the top, and I think it doesn't really matter what mask. I wonder if it works with this one. There should be a glintstone crystal underneath the hood, but I wonder if it's working with this one as well. Let's see, I should have the erudition gesture. There we go. Let's see if it works. Oops. Do I have to wait or do I... No, okay, I have to wait. Does it work? Oh. Oh, you saw the glow there, right? Oh, wrong gesture. Let's see if it works with this one. Or maybe it doesn't work because I'm... because of cheat engine. But no, it works with this one. So apparently... the hooded mask here, the Heimer Glintstone crown, isn't working, so I wonder... There seems to be no glintstone underneath the hood then. And I wonder also if this one works. They're very similar to each other. They both have, what's it called? A blindfold on. And they also have both a beard, but this one, instead of having a glintstone on the top, has a, like... What kind of stone is this? Is this, like, an onyx, or... Let's say... It doesn't say what kind of stone this is, but this is clearly no glintstone then. There's no black glintstone. Quite a while. So now we gain access to the tower and we can grab our prize, which I think is again one of these... oh well. Maybe this is the mage who got too cocky, like the same thing that happens with, what's her name? What is her name? Oh no. You know who I mean, like our sorcerer teacher, like... She's being transformed into in one of these balls as well, when she is trying to take over the academy, which clearly does not work. But I wonder if he got mad as well, like, or whatever happens really. Like, oh, here we gain the cannon and gavel of Heimer. Spells, which was very nice, I guess. These are pretty strong spells. Let's get back to the Frenzied Flame thingy outskirt, whatever it's called. Why is it always saying Bellum Highway? The highway is over here, like, it's the road. This is not the highway anymore, honestly. And it happened as well last episode with the Roads of Elden Ring thingy. When I approached the Black Knife Catacombs, it said also Bellum Highway, and this was very strange, and I think there needs to be something patched. I mean, it's not very important, but still. This shouldn't be a thing. I was wondering what that sound was. There's still there's still 2 mausoleums rampaging. Like, if you approach this area over here, where there again dudes sitting, this time in a circle, you're being surprised by wraiths or revenants, whatever. Basically the same thing. I don't know what they're doing here in a circle, like sitting around. They have Frenzied Flame Stone and Eye of Yellow, so they have to do something with the Flame of Frenzy, but I don't know why these revenants or wraiths or whatever are spawning here directly. Like, they don't really have a connection to the Frenzied Flame. They more like have a connection to the Omen Curse, if I saw that correctly, because the Omen Flames, like, and this was now a discovery by me right now, I just discovered it, but when they came out of their little summoning circle thingy, right, there was the black circle surrounded by these yellowish black flames, the same flames, wrong item, these flames over here. And these are... And this item is so strange in my opinion. Like, because they use the black and yellow flame, right? And then if you're using... Where is it? And this is just a side rant, because I'm just... And if you're using this, you also have a black and yellow flame, so these two should be connected, but this one, to my knowledge, is not inflicting Death Blight, but this flame on the Shotel is. So Death Blight and these Omen fire attacks, whatever you want to call them, are very similar to each other, but they're... Because the Omen thingy, the Regal, the item that I just used, the Omen item there, because it's not inflicting Death Blight, it might be something different, or is it the same thing, but I think this is not part of this video now. And we just saw the mausoleum jump in the background. That's funny. But here we are in the village, and this village actually has a wall surrounding it. I can just imagine that this one over here had a gate. I hope it had a gate, because if there was no gate, then how do you get into this thing? And I've noticed this quite a lot of times, but you can see the wall itself is like a solid wall. It has a filling, basically. You have these grayish stones on the outsides, like 2 layers apparently, and well, maybe multiple layers, and then you have these more brownish, yellowish, brownish stones in the middle, like, which means the wall is slightly harder to destroy from the outside with catapults and stuff like this, but you also have the downside that you can't really walk into, walk inside of them, right? There is no, there's no path through the wall itself, so you can't take cover inside the wall and shoot outwards. But I just hope there was a gate here once. Another thing that I really don't like about these walls, I've talked about this quite a lot in previous videos, where I think can I get up there? Maybe with Torrent? Torrent should be able to, yeah. Here, this is the problem. There's no door inside, so you can't even occupy the tower. And again, you don't really need to put a functioning door here. Just put a door here that the player can't open, and it's fine. If the player's not supposed to get in there, it's completely fine. If you don't want to model that level, it's okay, but put a door there as an indicator that someone could go in there. This makes the world more believable, and it feels more alive. And why is this village here? Why does this village here feel more alive to me than villages or cities, towns like, for example, Celia over here. We had a look at Celia, a town of sorcery, but this one still feels more alive, even though, like, both towns have people inside of them. In Celia, they are the magical sorcerer dudes, and here we have these Albinorics that are basically stuck in these frenzied flame poses, and their eyes are eternally burning. Well, it is because some of these houses are accessible. And this is really the only reason. And maybe because it looks less sterile. What do I mean by less sterile? Of course, these houses have much more texture. Because there's the thing with wood and stone and the roof, and they look rough, right? If something looks rough, it looks like it's been used. If something has been used, it tells you someone was living here, right? So these houses look like they've been used. Other than the stone-only housings in Celia, in my opinion, you can't have a look, you can't peek through the windows. It looks very sterile, even though it's partially destroyed. It still looks too clean, in my opinion. Like, and of course, the fact that you can't access the interior of them makes it less believable. Even though these houses aren't like very believable themselves, at least in my opinion. Because look at this house, right? I think it's supposed to be sunken into the ground, maybe. Because I can just imagine this is the entrance, and you shouldn't be able to, like, you should access this thing without crouching. Like, it slightly sunk into the ground, which is fine, but then you have things like these small windows here that are like, the one window is higher up than the other one, which is like, windows up there indicate that you have a second floor, but look at the dimensions of this house. It feels too small. So even though these houses here are looking, in my opinion, much better than the houses that we've seen in Celia, or even the houses in Leyndell, to be honest, I like these houses more, they still have some problems. The problem of dimensions, like, it is still too small. And yes, of course, small houses back then could have been smaller and maybe, like... But there isn't really much room. There's no room for a fireplace, a bed, and a few chairs. Like, you couldn't even walk in there. Like, in my opinion, these houses are too small to be believable, even though it might be functional. But how are you fitting a ladder or a staircase? I guess it's a ladder then. A kitchen and a bed and stuff like this inside this house without, like... You could have built it bigger, like, there's more room here. Why not make it bigger then? If it's bigger, you can fit more people inside. But oh well, we have inflicted Albinorics here. There are the Eye of Yellows growing here, which I will have a look at later on. And then you have these Cuckoo Knights also being afflicted by the Flame of Frenzy. And again, I really wonder how this works. Like, is the Flame of Frenzy, the Flame of Frenzy of course is sentient, like, in one way or the other. It can control stuff, it is sentient, it's to some level of to some level, yeah. But then, is it choosing, like, I'm going to kill this person, I'm going to take over this person's mind, I'm going to ignore this person, or house? Like, because if you attack them, they still have their normal moves, like hitting with the sword, but they also, let's see if he's doing it at some point, he can still throw his glintstone thingies, but he also has this attack. Like, a weak version of the Flame of Frenzy, which says, Incantation originating from the maddening three fingers causes the yellow flame of frenzy to burst forth from the caster's eyes. Charging increases the range of the burst. The flame of frenzy deals damage and causes buildup of madness. This incantation also causes buildup of madness in the caster and is only effective against Tarnish, which again isn't really true. I mean, yes, only the flame of frenzy can. This is interesting. Maybe this is the case. Like, I think maybe my question just got answered. It says it can only affect, like, madness can only affect the Tarnished. So maybe only Tarnished are able to withstand the madness to some degree, because if they try it, like, these are clearly not Tarnished, right? These are Grace given, I think is the opposite of Tarnished, right? And because these are soldiers, they're obviously touched by grace. And maybe this is why they're not suitable as vessels for the Three Fingers. Because they already have, like, the golden juice in them, and the Tarnished, of course, do not. And thus they're suitable for the Flame of Frenzy. Maybe this is the case, maybe not. Who knows? People probably know, and this is something that I really like about these games, right? What is happening with the shadow there? Don't look at it. This is something that I really like about the Dark Souls and the Elden Ring series, because everything is so vague. There might be a story behind it, but it's easy to create your own story around it, right? Your own truth. And there are many people, myself included, who really struggle with the idea of creating your own story. Like, for a long time for me, if let's say I played through Dark Souls and then someone told me that, for example, Solaire is the son of Gwyn, right? This is a theory, it's not confirmed, it's a theory, right? But I and many other people are struggling with the idea of adding to the story. Because someone else made the story, right? The story, it feels like the story is set in stone, but it's a story, I can change the story myself. It might not be official from the owner of the story, but who says it needs to be official, right? But I think I'm still struggling with this. And what I mean exactly is that I'm not really happy with this might be the case. I really want to have the truth, basically. This is the case. Miyazaki or whoever wrote the story says this is how it is, and not like one dude who liked the story said this might be this way. I hope I can convey this problem. It's hard to describe, at least for me right now. But I hope you can understand me with that. I think TLDR, because it's not the confirmed story part from Miyazaki, for example, I don't like the theory. And I'm struggling with this, and I'm trying to overcome this feeling that I'm not okay with the theory, right? But yeah, let's keep going, because there's only really one thing to go through, and excuse me for a second. Okay. I had to cough there, and I'm probably forgetting to cut that out. Here we have plants that also are affected by the Frenzied Flame, because these golden pollens are causing madness buildup. And I wonder if this works with my character now. I wonder if this... Let's just wait a little. Because Maybe some of you know why this is the case, but I have currently in the cheat engine enabled that I can't get hit. I'm invisible and I can't get hit. But environmental stuff, like poison, a poison swamp, is still affecting the character. Like when I'm staying in a poison swamp, I'm still getting poisoned at some point. But attacks like these, or the Frenzied Flame Eye thingy, are not affecting me. I can only think that these are coded as attacks and the poison ground is not coded as attack, but something different. But I'm not really sure if this is the case. But I can only imagine this is the case, so maybe some of you can confirm it. I'm really not good at coding and stuff like this, so I can only imagine it is this. But yeah, not much to talk about here, so let's get to the other important part, because I've said already there is an NPC that also inherited the Flame of Frenzy, or at least got touched by the three fingers. And this is something strange to me. Again, I'm not up to date on the lore, so you might be able to tell me why this is the case, but let's first of all see if this NPC is even spawning, because it seems like they are indeed not spawning. Maybe if I'm clicking this button, yeah, now it's spawning. They are spawning. Okay, here we have Festering Fingerprint Vike. And he is using Vike's Spear, the Frenzied Flame version, and he's also using certain Frenzy Flame spells. Maybe you can get them to use them here, but come on. You have a talisman in your hand, please cast. Well, you don't want to, okay. But sadly, a lot of content from this character got cut. I wish it was still there, but there was probably a reason for that, for cutting stuff out. And oh, now he's using it, okay. Burst, I think, he just casted. At least this way he's not constantly hitting me, right? But yeah, he's using, I think, only two incantations. One is the Frenzied Burst, and one is the Flame of Frenzy, like the Flame of Frenzy right now, and then let's see, now he's only doing the one, but he can also use the Frenzied Burst. So this is Vike, he is now doing it, yeah. I think he doesn't have the other ones. No Howl of Shabriri and no, not the grab and not the other thingy. So this is Vike, and if we have a look at his armor, I have this armor indeed as well, over there, fingerprint armor, so we can definitely see there is a fingerprint here, so he got touched by the flame, or by the three fingers. But the three fingers are clearly there, they're still there, so you can stop it now, please. The three fingers are still there, so he did not inherit the Flame of Frenzy, right? Because if we do it, the three fingers are being absorbed by us. But the other strange thing is that he seemingly got embraced by the three fingers with his armor on. Right? Because the armor is molten, like, molten, like you can see the fingerprint on the armor, because when we go in the door thingy there, then we have to strip naked. But he could go in with his armor, so something strange there. But why is he invading here? Possibly because this over here was his finger maiden, and I'm not quite sure how she died. The visuals just, it literally looks like she just sleeps right now. But apparently she died. It's unclear from a visual storytelling how she died. I'm pretty sure that it's somewhere in item descriptions and stuff like this, but from a looks here, it looks like she's somehow dead, like was sleeping. It doesn't even look dead, but she is dead. Dead with open eyes even. Ugh. Or his eye open, right? Yeah. And it was her finger maiden, but from a visual storytelling, it's unclear why she died, who killed her, or whatever. That's only visual storytelling. I can read item descriptions, probably like every single item description, and then I might know what happened to her. And this is something they could have conveyed it better, like they could have communicated better here. And I think it should be quite clear, or from a visual storytelling, it is quite clear, or it should be clear that she is or was Pike's finger maiden. So he is actually not maidenless. Lucky him, I guess. But oh well, this was the Frenzied Flame Village? Frenzied? Yeah, Frenzied Flame Village and the surroundings, things that I haven't talked about in the Roads of Leonia thing, because to be honest, there is not really a road leading up here, and talking about this area in detail is much more fun to me than just brushing over a few things. So I've already said I don't like rating stuff, so I'm not rating this one, but I really enjoy things like these. They're not terrible difficulty. They're not terrible difficult, is what I mean. This area is not very difficult. You have a nice little gimmick with the frenzy flaming tower, which I appreciate. I like stuff that is not really the norm. Like, for example, here you have an encampment of soldiers that you have to beat. Like, you have 10 million encampments of soldiers that you just have to beat. This has something new inside with the Frenzy Flaming Tower, and I really like the story behind the three fingers and stuff like this. It's very interesting to me, so I appreciate this level a lot, even though it's nothing special from a what's it called, level design wise, right? You have a path with a red light, green light thingy here, then you're getting rid of the red light, green light minigame, and then you can explore the area like any other area. The layout of the town is pretty cool. I like that this town is actually fortified. Then you have this nice little wild garden up here. This area over here is like not at all occupied by humans. It seems like there's much nature here. I like it. It looks good. And look at that, the mausoleum is sleeping, I think. Or at least it's not making noise, which is nice. So this is only what I can say. I really like this area, even though it's not the most difficult area. It has a nice little mini game with the tower, and it has a lot of lore in it. And even though I'm not that good at the lore of Elden Ring at the moment, I was into it at one point, but it's now slowly fading. I really need a DLC of some sort. But yeah, let me know what you think about this area. If you have some theories or set in stone lore that you can talk about in the comments, I would appreciate it. And that is it from me. Goodbye.